Talk show is on the go. You guys are all on the go. Thank you guys for coming out today. It's really nice to have a small group of people. We make you seem like a really big audience, but we're actually hoping that you all have several personalities which will fill this place up, which happens. And yes, this is a solo show. This talk show is on the go, and you're on the go with Sunda Croonquist, and that's me. I don't have my guest here today. It's amazing when you don't have a guest, how you can still talk. People say you can't do this without a guest, but I can do that without a guest. Some people can do that. I can do that. And I wanted to tell you what I wanted to talk about today, which was really an incredible story that I read yesterday in the Post, and I forgot to bring it. And this school teacher, whose name is Morse-Cunningham, who I thought was Puerto Rican, by the way, just saying by looking at her, made a statement about what is privilege. Did you hear about this? Privilege is having $300 beats and not having a job, $200 sneakers and not having to do something. I mean, like, she went on and on and on, and they said it was racist against black kids, and I think it's against all kids. That's what I wanted to say. Like, you're all privileged. You kids who are outside protesting about privileged people, you're privileged too. I think that's what she was saying, and I think that they took it too far. And she was saying, privilege is having, a smartphone and Wi-Fi and not having to worry about your data plan. That's real. And privilege is, going to school and getting everything paid for. And I think she was trying to make a point in that it went the wrong way, and I'm not sticking up for her, but I look at these kids talking about privilege like, I don't know. I just think you're pretty privileged to be able to have a pair of shoes that aren't hand-me-downs. And, kids are very serious about their sneakers. My brother had a pair of sneakers for every day of the week, honest to God. Boxes and boxes of sneakers like they were Jimmy Choo's. I can understand, a Jimmy Choo, but Adidas? I'm just saying. They all look alike, and they all do the same thing. They make you look like you should be on a skateboard. I don't know. I'm not really big on the sneaker thing, but I should be. I did used to have sneakers with heels, though. I remember that. I remember having sneakers with heels. I remember having pink Pumas. I've never been a sneaker person, but I had to have a good pair of sneakers because I had to run track. And I didn't mention that. And I was thinking of mentioning the things that perhaps you never knew I did. There's some things that you guys don't know I even did. I can't even imagine. Could you ever imagine me running cross country? Something in my nose? No? Good. I gave myself a mask, and I felt great because every wrinkle is gone for at least 20 minutes, and then it comes right back. That's what it does. And do you know why that comes right back? Because they took Preparation H off the market, the real Preparation H, the one that worked. Preparation H got rid of the bags under your eyes like nobody's business. Everybody's going to Lancome. Everybody's going to the Wonder Bar. Preparation H. If you can find a bodega or you know somebody going to Mexico, get the old one. And it's like a stronger percentage of whatever it is that makes it go away. Because back in the day, you had to do things that keep you going. I have to explain. It's not the way it is now. I think now you could go out to a club with a phone and be okay. I would go out with no phone, stay on a public phone, but I would definitely leave with somebody. I would make friends. I would be dancing. I never came home alone. I'm not proud of that. I mean, sometimes I woke up and was like, oh, boy. But I stayed friends with people. I try to stay friends with people. Went home with an altar boy once. Actually, that's when you have a friend that leaves you the wrong way. That's why I tell my kids, you got to be careful of your friends. You ever have the kind of friends like they want to see you like chug it, chug it, chug it. Obviously, those are my white friends, but no, actually, it's my black friends that think they're white. I hate when they say that. I do. I'm like, don't say that. It doesn't become us. And then I remember chugging and feeling like I'm going to throw up, throw up, throw up. Then they don't want to be your friends when you think you're going to throw up. And I'm going to throw up. I'm going to tell you that right now. I get sick, I throw up. I don't want to be sick, I don't want to throw up. So my friend left me. And I remember I did her a favor. I actually paid for her boyfriend's surprise birthday party. And the guy that I gave the check to said the check bounced and it didn't. And that shows you who your friends are when they take somebody else's word over you. And I put out the money. Why would I bounce a check? I don't want a bill. But why am I telling you all this is that she left me, and thank God he was an altar boy. And he said, what a night we had. And I was like, uh-oh. And he said, remember all the church songs we were singing? And I was like, okay. Sometimes altar boys can get into it a little bit too much. Like, you still had it. They stole their altar boy outfit. Who's stealing from the church? If you're stealing communion, I understand. It's delicious. It's a wafer. It's like it goes on a cake. It's delicious. The wine, rancid, but it never sat around long enough. As you know, most of the nuns and priests in my school were in rehab. And so I guess it just had the trickle-down effect. I do remember Mrs. Johnson once saying to me, I said, Mrs. Johnson, my grandmother taught me that a lady never goes outside and smokes a cigarette when she's wearing a dress. And Mrs. Johnson said, your grandmother should have also taught you how to mind your own business. That's how I pretty much learned. I thought it was weird that the teacher was smoking in the classroom, but who am I to judge? I just thought that you weren't supposed to smoke in a classroom. But things are different. I smoked in an office. When my kids freak out that my friends might smoke cigarettes, my friends will be like, I'm going to go outside and smoke a cigarette, right? My daughter's like, are they crazy? They're going to go smoke a cigarette? Do you know what that does to you? It's like, yeah, but they grew up like that. Doesn't make it right. I'm going to tell you that right now. It doesn't make it right. But it happened. Like, you're a big girl when you're 9 years old and you light your mother and father's cigarettes. Like, wow, she's growing up. Look at her. She lights a cigarette. That's crazy. The commercials were crazy. 9 out of 10 doctors smoked Camels. Who is smoking Camels? While we're speaking of smoking and privilege, I'll tell you what privilege is. LA, you guys are privileged, okay? You guys are so privileged. You can stand outside, smoke a joint, and not even think about going to Rikers Island. Do you realize you could get caught with a roach behind a pack of matches and go to jail? I don't mean just like, get written up with a desk warrant. Whoever told you that is lying. You go to jail. You go to jail. They're going to write you up already with a death ticket. And by that time, you know how many people could pee on you on the way there? They're disgusting, horrible people. Horrible. Shackles. I still see shackles. I still see shackles from being arrested. I wanted to dedicate a podcast to Alaska Airlines. Wes, how do I do that? I want Alaska Airlines to really, know what they did was wrong during a time of, Me Too, Floyd, everybody. They can't throw people off a plane because of the color of their skin. And somebody said it was because I was wearing a fur coat, and it was neither of these coats, by the way. It was a totally different coat. If I came on like this, I can imagine where that would be a little ostentatious. If I came on like this, oops, that might be a little too much. But I didn't. I didn't even have one of these coats on. How cool is that? I can reach still. Isn't that cool? This is actually a guitar. I'm going to play for you now. And I don't know where I went with that. But that's what I was told. That if you wear fur in Oregon, you can get thrown off a plane. And I wasn't wearing neither of these. They should revisit my policy. Dude, what can I do about this? You guys are listening. I should have went live because they hate when you go live. But I'm going to tell you what Alaska Airlines did. It was my favorite airline in the whole world. I worked for them. I worked for them at the Riviera. Who can say they worked for the Tuskegee Airmen? They hired me to work for them. I'm on a plane with crutches. They wheel me on a wheelchair, and then they ask me to leave the plane. But where am I going? I'm in first class. I just wanted to go to the bathroom. And the woman says, the pilot's not comfortable with you on the plane. And at the end of the day, I just still can't get over the fact that they separated me from my daughters. I can't get over the fact that they pulled my arm, not this coat, another coat. They pulled my arm out. And they handcuffed me to a wheelchair and take me out. And then the lady says, the Samoan lady, no disrespect to you because you could play one on TV. I was thinking of that.
Thank you.
Yes, El Cid could play that. My little Eskimo. I can't say Eskimo anymore.
Oh, that's what they call me?
I can't say Eskimo now. Now I get in trouble. Now, who knows what Alaska Airlines can do? Because maybe it's an Eskimo thing. I don't know. I have no idea. Can you imagine like a 400-pound Samoan woman coming after you talking about, yeah, well, now you ain't going to wear that fur coat in jail. I'm like, what does this have to do with anything? Mm. And then she says, how did she put it? She said, I know one thing. You ain't never going to fly Alaska Airlines no more. And I go, but that's okay because you'll always be fat. And that didn't go over well. And she said, well, you going to jail and I got your kids. And I was just like, how do you get off on that? Like, how do you get off on that? And there's so many other things that could be going on. But I don't know how to go about it, but I have to get their attention. I have to get to the newspaper. I have to get to somebody. She's rearranging pictures in my studio. Obviously, I have people on my wall that have to get turned around because this is the year. This is the summer of the COVID comedian. That's right. Every comedian out there, I have to be careful what I say. Who knows? Maybe now I'm harassing men. Who knows? Did you know one of the ugliest men in comedy said that to me once? I'm not going to say who he is, but he's one of the ugliest people I've ever seen. It's not because he has a receding red hairline. It's just that, like, just take it all off at that point. But I touched his shoulder in the foyer of a comedy club, and he said I was sexually harassing him. Ugh. That's all I want to say. Listen, I know what's going on, and you guys have sent me all these emails wanting to know if I'm going to talk about what's going on in the comedy scene today. I'll be very honest with you. I wasn't there. I don't know what happened. There's certain people that I do think should definitely be out there. Like sometime soon, someone's going to find out that there are certain comedians who are just not perfect. And they're in heaven or hell where they rightfully belong. But I don't know exactly what's going on. I don't want to get involved in it because I'm fond of a lot of people, but I'm not fond of like creepy people. I don't like creeps, okay? So don't be creeping around my kids. But what I can tell you is that if you come out and you own it is better than hiding it and saying, you know, I never did that or I was tricked or I was whatever. Just don't lie. It's better to come out and just say, look, I messed up. I will tell you something, though. All you male comedians out there, how many times have I told you my kids are watching you? And if my kids are watching you, that means that they lied about their age to get on that social media platform. And they all lie to get on those social media platforms. I'm not taking anybody's side. I'm just saying you're supposed to be 18 years of age to be on certain platforms. And you guys know what these kids do. So you got to pay attention. You got to really got to pay attention. Do you know how many kids love you guys who are just like, what I would do to be in the room? Like, they just live through their phones and they're living with you in your phones. And if you say, it's like Soupy Sales back in the day telling kids, go in everybody's wallet, take out your mother's money and send it to me. They'll do what you say because it's like the Slender Man friggin' thing. If she makes one more sound, I'm going to kill her because she knows I've got ADHD and she's moving around. And then I get off the topic and I'm watching this coat that's ripped and I'm like so depressed because I was thinking, can my coats go gray? My hair can go gray, but tell me, can a coat go gray?
If it's in the sun.
Listen, mira. She's ignoring me now. See how she gets? You see how she goes? Take a look and tell me this isn't going gray, or am I crazy?
Oh, I love it.
I mean, it gets dry. You gotta do all kinds of shit to keep it conditioned.
Girl, who are you telling?
It's sealed away from children that rip it. And
Oh,
shit.
my God. I almost dropped dead. She said, look how pretty. I said, that's beautiful. I couldn't get the words out. It was just like having cotton mouth. No, you have to take it to be glazed every year. You got to take it to be glazed and refrigerate it because all I said to my husband is, why can't I just have one refrigerator in the house to put my good stuff in? One thing I asked
That
for.
doesn't sound crazy.
Right?
My stepdad used to keep 3 refrigerators, and there's no way to tell him no.
Was he kosher or something?
One, it was for beverages. The other one was for meat. And the other one was for my mom.
Oh, how nice. That's romantic.
Yeah.
All of them would belong to Mark.
This is not a sponsor to...
For like Frigidaire?
Yeah. Yeah.
Suddenly we got off and we don't know what happened. We're talking about comedians in refrigerators where they belong because they're getting in trouble. I don't want one more phone call. I mean, because here's the thing. People are going to ask you, do you know so-and-so? And you know I know so-and-so because when your daughter was sick, you made me tell so-and-so to say into my telephone, oh, please get well soon. And then that was all great. And now it's like, how do you work with that creepy person? But how do you? But I have to tell you though, my favorite writer is Whitney Cummings. I just want you to know that Whitney Cummings is she's such, I wish every woman could do that in comedies, to like embrace themselves and not make fun of themselves all the time. Like, it's like I'm such a loser. I had to go out with this guy. No, you decided you were bored and figured, why not make new material out of it? I love Whitney Cummings. So I heard she has some strong words out there. I got to pay attention when Whitney says something. Do I know what to say? I don't know exactly the whole story. Does anybody have a whole story that they're willing to talk about? I don't. I don't want to talk about that. You know why? Because then I don't want my picture coming up. Nothing's worse than seeing yourself in the Inquirer and you're pregnant, okay? And people, my sister says to me, should I get all of them? Because, you know, back in the day, if you were in the paper, you don't want anybody to see it. You like, you know, like when your cousin got into porn, you're like, buy them all. Just kidding. We would not buy them all. Every single one. Do you remember how much they would charge you kids for porn?
Just to go out, just to look through the window? Yeah.
Do you know what I saw? Jim Brown and Burt Reynolds were like hot, right? So I had a friend that I didn't know was a klepto back in the day. So she says to me, while our mothers are shopping, we could go into Playboy and look at, no, in Cosmopolitan. I wasn't allowed to look at Cosmopolitan.
Oh, you saw the one when he's on the rug skin without the rug skin?
Let me tell you how stupid I am. We put it against the window so that we could stand in front of it so people wouldn't see us. But really on the other side was Burt Reynolds with his junk hanging out. And the people walking past the store saw that two young girls had penises on the window. And we were protecting it.
Hysteric.
I mean, it's even worse than that. They found 10 packs of gum in my purse. I don't eat double mint then. I was like, I don't know where this came from. And she's,
I don't know where these sticks came from.
I mean, yeah, I got penises on the wall. I got gum in the pocketbook. And I was just like, who put, she goes, I put it there. I go, I could go to jail. She's like, no, say it's your first time. I'm like, you did this before. Let me tell you how smart she was. I can't make this up. I had a friend. She got in trouble for forgery. She was forging checks in second grade, and guess how they busted her? She wrote it in pencil.
Rookie mistake.
So we found out that she had a situation. She had a situation going on, but cut to 30 years later, what is she in jail for? Forgery. Look how things never change. Some things remain the same. Same thing. I have another friend. She taught me about hawking. And usually the people that teach you bad shit are the ones with the money. I had a friend who had a butler and who had a maid, and I felt bad for those people living there. I didn't even know, like, they had money like that. And she was like, we're going to go hawking. And I was like, okay. And she's like, we're going to put albums under our jacket. And I'm thinking, you can't put an album under your jacket. Get away with it. But she got albums under her jacket. She didn't need to do that. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that just crazy to steal when you don't have to steal? Can I have one of those drinks? I'm so sorry. I know I'm live, but I'm so thirsty. Can I have a drink? They made me talk to my son. No, I want that orange juice. I know I'm addicted to orange juice. She knows by now, but thank you so much. Is she gorgeous? She was making a noise to make me go off my line so that I wouldn't know what I was doing. Can I tell you, I was in a play, all right? And I had to play Detective Hernandez. It was very serious. And I had to shoot a gun. And it was blanks, but it was a gun to kind of still blow you backwards, you know what I mean? So I come out and I say, hey, officer. I said, it's time for a schnitzel and a Diet Coke. What do you think? And everybody laughed in the audience. And it was a serious play, and somebody was dying of an overdose while I was there. Can you imagine people laughing like that? Like, and you're serious? No wonder the comedians don't get anything. They're worried all the time that comedians are going to change words. What do you think about comedians, Wes? Do you think the mental illness is real? What was your first experience with mentally ill comedians? I'm not one of them, by the way. I have a business on the side.
When did we meet?
No, not me, but like, when did you realize that they're nuts?
I saw that movie Man on the Moon with Jim Carrey.
I never saw it. Did you see it? Oh, I didn't see it.
It's about Andy Kaufman.
Oh, so you did see it. So
No, I haven't seen
you haven't seen it.
There's a documentary.
I have to watch more comedy. Why do you think comedians don't watch comedy?
Because it's work. It loses. It's like magicians watching magic. They know how it's done, so it's not fun.
Wow, that's good. But
That's what Vinny was saying the other day about it being a formula.
I don't know, though. I think everybody has a different thing about it. Yeah, formula. My husband would say formula. Now that I think about it, formula. It would be a formula. Let me tell you something. I saw that guy on stage and took his video. Now, you know that's crazy. And I said, I'm going to get you into the Laugh Factory because you're funny. And he was up there talking about those men that got him in the Laugh Factory. Did we not cut him down? It's like, please. Men are worse than women when it comes to helping each other, by the way, sometimes. You have to see them. Let me just say, we're not going to talk about comedians who get braces at 50. I'm just saying that there's a few men out there who are really trying to push the young thing. I have a guest on, I'm not going to name names, who constantly is talking about so-and-so looks so old, and this one looks so old, and that one looks so old. And I'm like, but you're old too. Everybody's going to get old. Comedy, I think the older you are, the funnier you could be. And sometimes when you're a young person around old people, it makes you funny. Jeff Ross, raised with his grandfather, spent time at the Friars. That's what raised him. Old people, me, my grandmother, that's what raised you. You know, that's how I know whenever I hear a gospel hymn, it must mean work is coming. Are those new, by the way? I'm just curious. They are new, right? So somebody's been here. We're not crazy. Good. Sometimes you come in your house and you wonder, hey, what the hell's going on? This doesn't look like my apartment, and you realize you're not in your apartment. That's happened to me in Brooklyn. I could have been killed. You know that? I went into my apartment and I realized that my boyfriend, I said, oh, he changed the locks because I couldn't get to the front door. But I waited till somebody came in because we had a little fight. And when I went upstairs into my apartment, the entire apartment was gone, and it was just beautiful. And it was just not my apartment, and I could have been shot. I'm so nervous now, by the way. I want to know if there's anybody else out there right now that does not go to the post office, or is it just me? Do you go to the post office? No? That's interesting. What about you? You do, huh? She's got cojones, this one. So tell me, when you go in the post office, you just go in and you don't have any fear, you're not sweating, you're not scared? Follow the rules? What rules were the...
Mask on, 6 feet distance.
No, before this.
What do you mean?
Did you always go to the post office before
Yeah.
this?
What do you mean afraid?
I freak out in the post office. I won't
Just
go.
because of people?
I can't go in. I won't go in.
You probably have like a fucking type of phobia or something. You don't know about. Or
My friend's sister got killed in the post office in Patterson, so maybe that could do it.
Be part of it.
It's when Postal came out. You're going postal. I'm scared. They're crazy. I've had so many people in the post business. Dude, who gets high and thinks, I'm so paranoid, I can't carry the mail. My mic went out.
We could hear you.
Oh, that's good. But who gets so high that they decide to leave the who leaves the mail with you? Has anybody ever happened to you where someone says, I'm going to leave the mail with you? Never happened, right? Isn't that crazy? Somebody left the mail with me. He said, I'll be back later. I've got something to do, and I don't want anything to happen to the mail. And my mother said, you got to get this shit out of here. You could go to jail. She said, this is the postal property. And I was like, it's that post office thing again. That's why I don't mess with it. It keeps coming to me. And then I was like, oh my God, because I took the samples of Gain dish detergent out of it. Not Gain. It was clothing detergent. They used to give you little samples, and I was like, oh, they won't miss it. And all of a sudden, I was like, oh, suppose they report me, and they find Gain in my house. I was so paranoid. I was out of my mind. Don't even laugh. I once grew pot in the house, okay? And all I know is that somebody smoked it, and they got so high that they were like, I got to get out of here. And I was like, you got to get out of here. And nothing's worse than when you have a friend who eats an edible and doesn't know what they're eating. Has that ever happened to anyone where they're like, oh, I thought the whole box was for me? You're like, dude, that's for a month. You got to go now. One of my friends was under, I'm not going to say anything because you guys are in this kind of business with the cameras and stuff, but he was under the table being fed pizza because he was scared to come out because he had an edible. That's why you can't mess with your kids' friends' candy. You can always tell when you're like, wow, whose Swedish fish did I just eat? And they're like, no, Mrs. Zaffron, don't tell me you ate it. I was like, I just had a couple. And they're like, bummer. That's what happens. So all these things have happened to me. And I went back to talk about Alaska Airlines, but I got thrown off. But I have to write a letter to the editor or something. And if you're watching me on YouTube, which you should be at this point, you should be telling people, follow me on Talk Show on the Go. Follow me on Sunda Live. But get me a lawyer. I need a lawyer. Because I'll just close with this. Alaska Airlines sent me a letter. They sent me a letter about the confusion that occurred on the flight that I was on due to the fact my service animal was causing a ruckus. I don't have a service animal. What do you say to that? What do you say to that when you've been thrown off of a plane in front of your kids who can't respect you after that? Because let me tell you, I lost my mind when they separated me. I couldn't believe they're taking me from my kids. And you had to hear Tova, who's like, I got this. You don't have this, you stupid. I'm your mother. You're under 18. What do you mean you got this? Then she made believe that she was really Asian and didn't know me. You know, she could put that like very shy thing and she looks the part, and then she made believe she didn't know me. I snatched those earphones out of her ear. I twisted her neck around like she was the exorcist. How dare you? How dare you make believe you don't know me? And I'm your mother. And they wouldn't let me use the phone to charge my phone. I always have my phone charged. They're just like crazy kids. They were embarrassed. They were embarrassed. And who knows why they call... Do you know why they call a paddy wagon a paddy wagon? No, right? How about you? Wow, man. Life has been nice for you. Life is really nice for you. No, a paddy is what you call a Mick. A Mick is an Irishman, and they were all named Patrick. Paddy this and Paddy that, so they call it a paddy wagon. Isn't that racist? And we didn't know that. There you go, white people. How's it feel now? Huh? Little Aunt Jemima story for you. Why are they getting rid of Aunt Jemima? She's beautiful. Can't we have anything? Honest to God. Why can't we have Aunt Jemima? And what's but Mrs. Butterworth? We never knew.
Wait, did they take her off the logo?
Dude, they're taking Aunt Jemima off.
Yeah.
Dude, no, she originally had a red head rag on.
Yeah, that's when the person that designed that back in the 20s or whatever the fuck, they were like, oh, Aunt Jemima, she brings me my syrup every morning, and they put her into the ad. That's why people don't want it.
Get over yourselves, people. Once in a while, there might have been a black nanny who made some ass-kicking pancakes and give her some credit for it. Do you mind? Do you mind? Wow. That's like the Frito Bandito. The first time I heard of racism, they said they were taking the Frito Bandito off television. We didn't have much of, when you go to a whitewashed school, you don't know. And it was this song, I am the Frito Bandito. I like Frito's corn chips. I love them, I do. If you like Frito's corn chips, I'll get them for you. And they took it off. And I was so sad about the Frito Bandito. I'm still confused with Banditos and tortillas. Diaz.
We were all mad with the Taco Bell dog, too. They took him out. The Taco Bell dog.
Oh, he was Argentinian.
He was Argentinian.
He was a comic. Did you know that? Alcazar was his last name. You know, he was Spanish, like Argentinian. Yeah, that was crazy. Taco Bell. Why? Because they were trying to say you're eating dogs? Why was it racist to Taco Bell? No, we don't have it in New York. We don't have Taco Bell. That's why I'm asking you.
Oh, I think it was because it was stereotypical for a dog to wear a sombrero hat.
The dog was wearing a friggin' hat? Oh, my God. You didn't say that part. Notice how he slips over it.
It's okay, but the fucking hat.
Dude, no, you can't be having him like he's dressed up in one like three caballeros. I didn't know it was like that. I thought it was just like a little dog in it.
It's interesting.
Did you like the commercial?
I loved it. I didn't care. I know, I'm from there. I'm from Mexico. We were having fun with it.
Dude, I can't keep up with these Mexicans. First of all, I don't even know Mexicans till I came out here. Alma was my first Mexican. Then she introduces me to another Mexican, but they tell me in my ear that she's Indian in my ear. She's like, no, she's Indian. Yucatania or something like that. And then I can't understand them. They have X's and everything, right? The Spanish.
Beautiful language. Beautiful language.
And the songs are so, isn't it beautiful? It's romantic. Tell them how beautiful.
It's just the dialect that is, it's just very old and beautiful to listen to. Even though you don't know, I don't know how to speak that, but it's just good to hear that someone is still keeping that tradition. It's awesome.
It's Yiddish for Jews, but I'd like to have a term for it. Like, what is the correct? How about you? Do you know? There's a name for it. OAX something.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. This is your history. You have to help me.
We've been brainwashed here so bad.
Really?
Yeah.
You've been brainwashed? Brainwashed? Everybody's eating Mexican food. Who's been brainwashed? All my friends, nothing but Mexican. Breakfast, what do you want? Mexican. Lunch, Mexican. Dinner, Mexican. They love Mexican food. Right?
Yeah. It's everywhere.
What about Wes? Speaks no Spanish out of nowhere. He's ordering. I'll have a quesadilla, and for my Jewish friends here, we're not going to have any pork. I love that part.
Yeah.
That was the best part.
Yeah.
We love Wes. I go in this place, everybody's just standing there washing their hands, and I said he likes this place too. But then I recommend places for him because they're hand washers. Because we were in the hand washing before the hand washing. That's why, as crazy as I am, you could get comfortable with me because I'm going to wash my hands. But we should know the name of that, by the way. It's a Yucatanian Spanish, and it's beautiful, and the songs are beautiful, and we don't understand any of it. And El Cid is supposed to be teaching me Spanish. Not doing a good job at it.
Thank you.
What is it called? Oaxaria?
We know there's a lot of different dialects. Some is Zapoteco. Some is just so many. Just like here, there's so much languages here in LA.
It's very diverse out here.
It's very diverse.
What do you speak, Wes? Just English. That's it? Do you do accents? Oh, come on, Wes. We probably have no idea. Can you imagine? Everybody does something behind closed doors, right? He probably turns into Antonio Banderas. You know what I mean? He's probably like, ven acá, yo quiero hablar contigo. ¿Cómo se dice esa cosa? Can you imagine? Alma talks like Antonio Banderas. She's like, the plate that was in the kitchen, I broke it. She breaks shit all the time, and she smiles. I love her. Imagine somebody said to me, you feed them? I said, feed who? Them. My neighbors let the people who work for them eat in the garbage room. Did you hear me? In the garbage room. I said to the lady, what are you doing in here? She said, I'm hungry. Eating in the garbage room. Guys, be nice to people that work for you. This hasn't been an interesting show, but it doesn't mean that I can't talk about anything. But I'm going to wrap it up anyway because I finally had to drink the juice. Andre's making songs, making beats, confirming up until the last minute, up until 11:08. And he's not here, but it doesn't mean we don't love you, Andre. And we love everybody that's a part of this. And I said, I put on makeup today. I'm definitely going to come out. Why? I've got to go to Bloomingdale's and freeze those bad boys and glaze them. But make sure that you stay tuned to see what's going on, what's happening, what's coming in, who's doing what. We're having guest speakers come in. Like, all these wanted to do a comedy show. Tell us about it. I hear buzzing. And it just could be my phone. And it probably is. I guess we're on the outs, on the go. And let's follow up with Alaska Airlines. If you guys have an attorney in Oregon, do let me know. If you know of a news writer or somebody, I'm going to call AP. I think that they should settle during this time instead of me making a big deal about it. Because I think from now on, Wes, ever since I've been arrested, I just think about it all the time. Whenever I hear cars, I think about it all the time. Squad cars, I think they're going to arrest me again. And I have PTSD. And my kids have not respected me ever since. And if I'm going to suffer, let them suffer. Especially for those cheap, stale peanuts you give me. All right, this talk show's on the go. We're on the go. Follow me on Sunda Live, all platforms. You guys have been great. Goodbye.